We shall start in a minute. We shall wait for people to join and then we shall start in a minute. Okay, guys, so welcome to this session on binary search. This is the first part of this algo series that we have started. Let me tell you a bit about algo series. So this algo series will consist of sessions on various algorithms that are commonly found in data structures and algorithms problems. The other topics that we will be covering in this series are range queries, two pointers, greedy, DP, divide and conquer, and many more. Along with the lines of this DP, this algo series, we also have the DS series, where we shall be covering various data structures like linked list, stacks, queues, hash tables, priority queue, etc. So yeah, all the best, guys. Over to you, Shubham and Bhavya.
Thank you, Girish Bhaiya. So today I and Bhavya are going to take the session on binary search. Today is our first session of Algo series. So let's get started without wasting any more time. So today our agenda is to know what is binary search and the differences and some comparison between linear search and binary search and all its time complexity. And we will discuss some problems regarding this binary search technique. How can you solve the CP problems with this binary search technique? We will see that. After that, we'll move on to the predicate function of binary search and monotonicity, which is the advanced topic of binary search, and we'll discuss some problems also about this topic. So, before starting about the binary search, I want to share you about something about what is searching. So, searching means want to find some elements in the array. So, you have two ways to find these elements, right? So, one way is to do linear search, where you are performing the searching algorithm like that. You are looking through all the elements and finding whether it is the element what I want or not. And another is binary search, which is our today's topic. So one more thing I want to tell that linear search can be applicable at any position or any type of array, rather to say, like sorted or unsorted. If I say about linear search, we can see that there is no particular pattern, right? So 5, 10, 15, then 63, then again 2, then 4. So we can't find any pattern, so we have to traverse through the whole array from the starting to the ending, and we have to see whether the element required element present in the array or not. And if we talk about the binary search, we can see a pattern. See, binary search is applicable on sorted array, and we can see that there is 2, 4, 5, 16. It is an increasing order. And if I pick up any element, like suppose 10, if I pick up 10, then we can say that all the elements on the left side of 10 are lesser than 10, and all the elements on the right side of 10 are greater than 10. So this conclusion we can make about that, right? So let's move on to the next portion. Binary search distinct. So basically, I want to tell you that binary search can be applicable on distinct elements, array containing distinct elements, and it's also possible to apply binary search in an array where the elements are similar. So today, first of all, I want to say talk about the binary search about the distinct element. So you all know that almost everyone knows that binary search is one of the fastest searching algorithm, and basically we use binary search to find the location of an element in linear search. You might feel that I am talking about all the things, but I will demonstrate how is it happening, and I will go through the visualization portion also. So these are all the only the theory portion. And binary search basically works on divide conquer technique. So let me tell you what is divide conquer if you don't know that. So if I give you some numbers like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. And if I tell you to sum this as a whole, you can't do that. If in your mind you will think first about that 1 plus 2 is 3, then 3 plus 3 is 6, then 6 plus 4 is 10. So you will pairing two elements and then summing up. So similarly, you can't do that. Computer also can't do that in that way. So what you have to do, this whole array, the four elements, you are dividing it into parts. Like you are doing like that. You are pairing 1 plus 2, and then you are calculating 3 plus 4. So you have divided the whole problem, right, in very sub problem. Then what you will do? You will calculate first on the left part, 1 plus 2 is 3. Then on the right part is 7. After that, you will combine the results. So thus you will get the result. So this is the technique which is called the divide and conquer. Where first of all, we are dividing the elements, and then we are calculating and coming to the required result. So that these techniques we will apply in binary search, and we will see how it is going to happen. And time complexity, I will talk about this. We'll talk about this in later on. So now talk about the binary search algorithm. So before talking about binary search algorithm, this chunk of code, I want to make you people visualize the thing. How is it happening? So first of all, the question is that whether 63 is present in the array or not. We have to say that in the sorted array. Most important word, the sorted. If the array is sorted, then only we can apply binary search. Otherwise, we can't, because we can't come to a solution or a conclusion that we get less elements on the left and the greater element on the right. So we have to go for a sorted array. So we have to find whether 68 is present in the array or not. And if present, then it's index, right? So you can see that the number of elements is 8, and our required element, the key element is 68, which we want to find. So first of all, I will take two pointers or two variables, you can say, which will store the index of the beginning and the ending. So low is the beginning position and high is the ending position. You can see that low is 0 and the high is 7. You know that the array index starts from 0, so it goes up to 7, though the number of elements is 8, but it will go up to 7 because it's starting from 0. What we will do basically, we will take the mid, which is low plus high by 2. So we will take the mid and we will search for the element. Suppose we have taken the mid and we, sorry, yes, okay. So first of all, we will take the mid. So how we will take the mid? 0 plus 7 by 2. It will truncate it to be 3. So our mid will be at this position. So we will see whether 68 is lesser than at this position the 10, or it is greater than. So we can see that it is greater than 10. So we can say that the element 68 is not present in the left of this array, right? Or at this position also. So we can say that this is we need not to find through this portion of the array. So we can make it as, so this position we need not to find because it's already done. We came to a conclusion that it is not present in the left. And now what we'll do, we'll make low is equals to mid plus 1. As you can see here, we are making low is equals to mid plus 1. If array mid, the value 10 is less than 68, then we are making low equals to mid plus 1. So we will do that. Sorry guys. Yeah. So now we need to find in this subarray. We have completed with this portion that it is not present in the left, and we will compute in this subarray. So again, we will do the same. Mid equals to 4 plus 7 by 2, low plus high by 2, which is truncated to be 11 by 2 is equals to 5. So our mid will be at this position. and causing some problem. So we will be at this position and we'll see whether 68 is on the left of this position or not. We can see that it is 63, which is not the perfect number, and it is less than the original number. So we can say that the numbers which are present on the left of 63 are, and including the 63, cannot be the answer. So we will make this portion also red. We need not to calculate this portion. Again, as it is less than, then we will make low, will bring low to this position, which is mid plus 1, as you see in the code. And after that, when we will search about, when we find the mid, which will be 6 plus 7 by 2, means the 6, then we can say that our mid will be at this position, 6. And we can find that 68 is on the position at the 6th index. So we can say that yes, 63 is present on the array, and yeah, it's on the 6th position. So this is how binary search is working. It is dividing the whole array into subparts, or you can say two halves, and then deciding whether the element what we are searching for are present in the left or in the right. If it's right, then we need not to search for the left one, and if it is on the red, then we then we will move to the right. And we can see that if we do linear search, we need to get do many steps. Like in the first step, we will come to this position, then these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to 6 steps to come to the conclusion. But applying this, we come at first we come to this position 10, then we come to 63, and at the third iteration we come to this position. We find our correct answer. So it's quite easy to apply, and it's faster. That's why it's faster than the linear search. And here is the algorithm. We are initializing, and you can say the code actually. So we are initializing the low and the high, which is n minus 1. N is the number of elements, and we are searching for the element x. After that, we are running a loop, while loop. While the low is less than equals to high, we will continue the loop. And after that, we are searching mid, and in this equation I am writing low plus high minus low by 2. It's nothing but if you calculate a bit, you can find that it is similar to low plus high by 2, which is similar, but we are doing this to avoid the uh, errors. Like if the input is very high, then it may cause error according to the data type or the size. So to avoid this, we are applying this. You can do low plus high also if you want. And if array mid equals to x, like at this position, when array mid, we can find array mid equals to 6, we can find that array 6 position is 68. Then we are returning the mid, which is the position, or we can say that it's true. We can return also the boolean value also. So we can say that this is the position where our element is present. And after that, if the array mid is less than x, means the element is less than the required value, then we can say that it's not present in the left, it's obviously present in the right. So we'll move on to the right portion. So that's why I set low equals to mid plus 1. And if this not happen, like if the array mid is greater than x or equals to x, then we can set high equals to this position, high equals to mid minus 1. Thus we can come to the conclusion that it's happening. So this is the while loop actually, and it should not be here actually. It should be here after this position. So after the while loop, if the array is not present in the required list, we can return -1, that the array is not present in the list. So this is all about binary search. And let me talk something about the time complexity of binary search. So basically, initially there are n elements. In the first iteration, the elements number of elements are n by 2, because we are dividing the array into halves. Then in the second iteration, we're dividing again. We're dividing the array, which will be n by 4. You can say, because n by 2 by 2 equals to, which turns out to be n by 4, and you can say it as 2 square. Right. So following this pattern, after the first iteration, it's 2 to the power of 1. After the second iteration, it's 2 to the power of 2. After the third iteration, it will be 2 to the power of 8. Following this pattern, we can say that after kth iteration, it will be n divided by 2 to the power of k. And you can come to the conclusion that the minimum possible array or subarray from this from a fixed array can be of one element, right? So the minimum value of this is the number of elements, can be 1. So n by 2 to the power of k equals to 1. So, and we need k steps to come to this position, that if the array, our particular value, our x, is at this position, then we can say that yes, it's it is in the kth position. So to complete these steps, we need to perform k times iteration, and we can say that n by 2 to the power of k, the number of elements after k iteration, will be 1. This is the maximum iteration we can get. So we can say that 2 to the power of k is equals to n, and by taking log to the base 2, we can come to the conclusion that k is equals to log to the base n, right? So in the in this position, we are running the loop for low less than equals to height. So this loop can be run for maximum log 2 base n times. So the time complexity of our solution becomes log 2 base n. We go of log 2 base n, or you can say simply we go of log n. This is the time complexity of binary search, but I skip in the initial position. Sorry for bad handwriting. So yeah, at this position we go of log n. But if you go for the linear search, you have to search for all the elements, then it will take big O of n time. So yeah, obviously log n is faster than n. So now what we have learned from these things, we are going to solve a problem with the help of this. So it's a problem of Porteous. It's opened here. Yeah. So it's the problem. What is the problem is saying? It's the main problem that you are given a non-integer, non-negative integer d. You have to find two non-negative real numbers a and b, such that a plus b equals to d and a multiplied by b equals to d. So what are the inputs? Let's see. Again, some notes are there that your answer will be considered if a plus b minus a multiplied by b is less than equals to 10 to the power of minus 6, and a plus b minus d, which is less than equals to 10 to the power of minus 6. What it means that you are given like 69, so you have to find two a and b. If you sum a and b, you will get the same number, d means 69, and if you multiply a and b, you will get the same number as 69. So it may possible that the number is not particularly 69, it may be 69.0005 or something that. So that's why they mention the precision. You have to be precise that 10 to the power of minus 6. Your difference between these two answers must be 10 to the power of less than 10 to the power of minus 6. So let's see. Here is the number of test cases. At first, we are given in the first line the test cases, and then we are given one integer in each line. So d, which is our input. So here are this 7 represents the t. There are 7 test cases. In the first test case, they have given 69, then 0, then 1, 4, and so on. So the outputs are like that. You can see that 67 for 69, if the answer is yes, and the a and b are printed over here, and for 0 it's yes and 0 0, and like that. So how is it happening? If it's we can't find this kind of number, then we have to take we have to print n. So these things are there. So how to analyze the problem? Let me tell you. Yeah. So what are the things given here? A plus b equals to d and a multiplied by e equals to d. So if I write a multiplied, I can write that a multiplied b equals to a plus b, because both are equals to d, right? So if I do some calculation, I can come to, by side changing, I can come to this position, the e minus 1 equals to b, and by further calculation, I can come to this position, a equals to b by b minus 1. Now we know that b is greater than b minus 1 if b is greater than 1, obviously. So again, we can say that b by, well, let me make it full screen. We can say that b by, from this position, b minus 1 is greater than 1, and as we know from this equation, it's our a. So a will be greater than 1. Similarly, we can prove that b is also need to be greater than 1. So if my d is given as 1 or 2, so we can't do these things, right? Because if my array is given, sorry, my d is given as 1, but we know a plus b equals to d, and we also know that a need to be greater than 1, this need to be greater than 1, so their summation will be greater than 2, so it's not possible, this solution will not be satisfied. So for these 2 and 3 conditions, 3 is also included there, so for these 3 the answer will be no, means n, we need to print n, and for the other solutions we'll see how to get the answer. Well, what will be our approach? At first, we will take a low and a high. So, our D, suppose our D is given as 10, and we took our low at this position, which is 0, and it goes up to our end position, which is 10. It's our low, and it is our high. So, if I find the mid, and let me tell you something about what are the operations we are going to perform, that will perform mid is equals to low plus high by 2, and again our b is equals to mid value, and we will make our a is equals to d minus b, as we know a plus b equals to d. Sorry, a is a plus b equals to d, so we can do that also. So but after doing that, we will see whether a multiplied by b is uh, greater than a plus b or not. If it is greater than, then our low need to be the mid value, and if it is not happening, if then in the else condition, what we will do, we will make the high is equals to our mid. So this is our approach. It's pretty much simple. Let's see what is happening, and we will analyze why it is happening. So what we will do, we will do this low plus high by 2, which will consider to be 5, and from this position 5, sorry, here, and is our mid, and we get 5 at this position. Our b is equals to 5, and a is equals to d minus b, which is also 5. So if we add this, this will be 10, which is similar to that, and our this condition satisfies a plus b equals to d. But if we go for this condition, then we can see that it is 25 a multiplied by b, but d is equal to 10. So it's not happening. It's not. It can't be our answer. And we can see that a plus b, a multiplied by b is greater than a plus b. So we will make the lower is equals to the mid. So this will be our low. And again we will find our mid. Our mid will be at this position, which will be 5 plus 10 by 2, which is 7.5. Again we will, if we we get b as we'll get b as 7.5 and a as 2.5. So if we multiply, we'll again get some abstract value, which will be something like 22.5 or something like that. So uh, it's again greater than d, which is the value of 10. So we will move on increasing low. At some position, if we find it at suppose if we make our b as 9.5 as an example, and then our a will be 0.5. If I multiply these two, I will get a multiplied by b is equals to 4.75, which is less than 10, means which is less than our d. So we need our case will be fall in the else portion. So we need to make our h is equals to mid. So thus we will move our high in this way, and our low will move in this way. After certain iterations, it will come to some position where is our actual answer, and it's our answer. That's all. So that's the algorithm that's we want to implement in our code. And mind there are please take a note that there are some base cases which are 1, 2, 3. We can't get yes value for these three, so the value will be no for these three, and for the other values we will calculate by this way only. So let's see what's the code. Yes. So yeah, first I included the header file and all, and after that this code is for to the text inputs and all the online judge. And here our code begins. I take an integer t, which just simply defines a test case, and then mid, low, and high, and our d, the input which is given, and a and b. This is all. We need not to do anything more. Then we'll take our test case, and here our d for each test case is taken. If d is greater than 0 and less than 4, means the range of d between 0 to 4 means 1, 2, 3, then we will print simply n, and you will continue to complete this loop. The loop will not consider this codes, and it will continue to the next input. So yeah, that's all. And if the values are not between these, means if the value is equals to 0, d equals to 0, or 4 or greater than 4, then we will come to this position. So we need to understand what is happening there. So here I take a equals to 0 and b equals to 0 initially, and make low at the 0 position at the beginning, and d is the high is the d, which is the ending. I can have told you that low is the beginning and high is the ending position. So after that we calculate the mid again in the same way, low plus high minus 2, which is actually low plus high by 2. So yeah, that's happening. And after that we are making b equals to mid and a equals to d minus b. And with if I have told you that if the this sorry, not this one, if these two value low and high comes at the same position, then we can tell that it's the answer is this. but it may not be possible to come to this position, but they are very closer. That's why they gave us this precision level that uh, a plus b minus of ab is less than equals to 10 to the power of minus 6. So that's the reason why we have taken this condition. If a plus b minus a multiplied by b is less than, this is 10 to the power of minus 9. We have taken more precision, and if this condition satisfies, then we will say that yeah, we have found our a and b. So that's all. We need to break the statement, break the loop. So if again this is the condition where we are checking that if it's greater than or less than, to move our low and high between this 0 and d, so that they come closer and closer. And in this line we have fixed the precision level, which is equals to 9, because that means that it will show a number to the ninth decimal position, because means you can say that 1.00000 to 9 position. So this it sets the precision, and after that it will print yes and the value of b, the value of a, and that's all. Uh, that's the code, written in simple code, and we are using just binary search at this position where low is equal to high, and we are making this decision mid and b and all. So that's the use of binary search. Let's see what are the inputs and outputs what we are getting from it. Let's take the input given here. I've copied the input and paste it over here, and I yeah, let's see, the answer are given yes, 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 and for 0 the value is 00 and 67 point something, and 1.010, and here you can find for the value 4 the answer is yes, 2 and 2.000 and 2.000, and you can see that it's up to 9 precision, and for 5 it's 3 point something and 1.38 something. And one thing you can also notice that I have told initially that by the calculation that a will be greater than 1 and b will be greater than 1. You can see that all in all the cases a will be greater than 1 and b is also greater than 1 if the condition is if a and b both are greater than 1, not in the 0 case. If a and b both are greater than 1, then we can get the value like that. So yeah, this is our input and output. Let's submit the code. Let's see whether it's submitting or not. Yeah, I have to the file, code process one, open the file, submit. Okay, it's saying the file is already available. Yeah, I have submitted this one, my solution beforehand, so that's why it's saying like that. No issue. I am just making another file.
Shivam, you can show the previously submitted code.
Yeah, okay, no issue. That's all. That will be also fine. Yeah, 1 second. Submit section. Well, yeah. Here I'm making all the changes on low, mid, what are the things I am doing, and it is showing that it is accepted. So that's the code, and I've submitted it beforehand. That's why it's showing accepted. Otherwise, it will accept this one also. So that's all from my side. Now, for further session for the advanced topic, Bhavya will continue. So over to Bhavya.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
So guys, I am Bhavya, and now I will discuss about the predicate function. Shivam, can you please stop your screen share?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I have stopped.
Is my screen visible?
Okay. Yeah, your screen is visible.
right? So before starting this, first of all, guys, please interact. And someone has told me to speak in Hindi, so I will keep the session in Hindi and English both. So if you feel any doubt, you can just stop me then and there. And if you don't feel that you have any doubts, then you can just तारीफ कर सकते हो हमारी. Let me start by pasting the problem links. One second. Shubham, can you please paste the problem links?
Yeah. What yeah,
Just
your screen share.
if you guys know about the predicate function, then what you can do is you can try these both problems and then we will discuss these two problems, right? So let me start with the session. So basically first let us see the visualization between the binary search and the sequential search. So as you can see in this GIF that the binary search is way too faster than the sequential search where we search for each and every element. So that is why binary search is much more preferred over the sequential search. And let us then just start with the binary search part. What is a predicate function? So predicate function is nothing but just a function which returns true or false. It has just two values, true or false. So when can we apply this predicate function and do the binary search problem? When can we see that this particular problem can be done with predicate or not? So to see that, we will just see that if we can derive some function which can be of a predicate function. Basically, what I mean to say is we should derive some function which has zeros from the start and ones at the end, or the vice versa, one at the start and zeros at the end. Basically, that should be monotonic. If it is increasing, then it should be just increasing. If it is decreasing, then it should be just decreasing. And it should only contain zeros and ones. So all the zeros to the one side and all the ones to the other. That is our predicate function basically. And what we will do over here. So basically, you will 90% of the problems you will face that in 90% of the problems you will have to either you will either have to maximize the answer or minimize it. So this predicate function is basically for minimizing our answer. So as you can see, this ones represent that our answer can be this value, this value, this value, this value, or this value. But we want the minimum index. So that is why it is over here. So basically, we will binary search on this predicate function, that is our array of zeros and ones, and we will find the turning point. And after that, our answer will be either the maximum, that is this, or this. So today I will explain this part where our problem will be of minimizing the answer. So basically our idea is to keep two pointers. This is our first pointer and this is our second pointer. And we want to keep the right pointer, which is the high pointer, always on the greener side, and the red pointer, which is our low pointer, on the left side or the red side. We will always keep that so that at last we will have something like this, where this is our high and this is our low. So guys, any problem with that? If you face any difficulties, you can ask. I will take your silence as you don't have any problems. So basically, I will reiterate what I said. We have this array of zeros and ones, and what we want to do is we want to keep the we want to find the turning point. So for basically for finding the turning point, we will do it in O of log n time, and we will do it with binary search, and we will come over here where from this position we will come over here where we have our low on the left side and the high on the right side, and both are at distance of 1, or it may be that our low is over here. That will be based on your code. 1 second. So this is our sample code where this is our check function, the predicate function which I was saying about. So that can be, of example, like if we want to find the minimum, if we want to find the minimum element which is just greater than or equal to 10. So then this is our predicate function. And this will give a, if our array is something like 1, 2, let's say 9, 11, 12, something like that, then this code will give us 11 as the answer. So guys, any doubts, any problems? So yes, basically we want to string the arrays, string the both the pointers, and we will cut the range to the half in every iteration. And if we found the answer, then we will terminate the loop then and there. And therefore, our complexity count boils down to a log n, which Shubham already explained. So for example, if we want to find the square root, so let's say the search space is 36. We have to search the square root of 36. What we will do is we will make the predicate function as m into m is greater than x. So basically, this will give us the this will keep our pointers over here, and basically we will get 36 and 25, but our answer is 36, that is which is high. Guys, any doubts?
No, it's fine.
Okay, great. So this is the basic code for this. You can have something else also. The binary search can be modified very easily. So you can have something else which also works over there. One iteration will be that what you can do is you can just reverse the predicate function. I have kept zeros in the left and ones at the right. What you can do is you can keep ones at the left and zeros at the right. So basically what I'm saying is you can keep like this, ones over here and then zeros over here. So इससे क्या होगा ना कि हम लोग को जो सर्च करना है that will be opposite of this. Then we will have to print the zeroth part which is over here. So be a little safe over here. We have to print this and not this. People do this also. There is no problem with that. But then you need to be alert and you need to print the zeroth part and not the low. You need to print the lowest part and not the high. So basically, we will cover this two problems. So let me start with aggressive cows. That is a pretty standard problem. Just a second. I want you guys to take a look at the statement. And when you're done, please. So are you guys done with the statement?
Yes.
Let me explain the problem once more. The problem is asking us basically that we have some positions and we have some cows, and we want to place that such that we want to maximize the we want to maximize the minimum distance between two cows, right? So basically it is something like this. So we have some positions and we want to place some cows, let's say two cows. We want to place it such that the lowest lowest distance between the cows is the maximum, right? So first, viewing this problem, we might think that this is a problem of DP, because why not? If we are not able to solve some problem, then that should be of DP, right? So, but this problem can be easily solved with binary search. And what we will see over here is we want to binary search on the answer. That is our 3 over here. So what we want to do is we want to check for each and every value of our answer, that if it is possible or not, and then we can make a predicate function which has zeros followed by ones, and we want, our goal is to reach over here, right? Minimum distance. uh, so I will try to try to write the code for this, and I will try to explain as well. So before writing the binary search part, first let us take the inputs. And we have been given with L and L, and we also need to take the test cases. In T, CAT, we will have this loop for t times. I will take two inputs, that is number of each test case contains two lines. The first line is the test case P and the sorry, right. So our input is T is the test case. Line 1 has N and C. So basically N is the number of positions, and C is the number of cars. Right. And then what we want to do is we want to search on the search space, and we want to find the largest minimum distance. Right. So before doing anything, let us make the predicate function. That is the check function basically. So we will have we will have x, and x is the minimum x is the minimum distance which we need. Basically that is our answer. So we want to search on that if our answer is valid or not, we want to search that, right? So first we will do that, and in the check function what we will do is we will try to have two positions. Okay, let me take the input for the positions. Let us have a global vector. And we want to resize that to n. And we want to take the input for that. And we also want to sort this array because binary search works on sorted arrays. One second, positions will be sorted. I think the input will already be sorted. No, we need to sort this. And then we'll make our check function. So basically in check function, what we will have is we will have positions, number of positions basically was 0, and the previous position as let us take it as -1, that we don't have any position now. And then we will run this loop. I is less than our n. Okay, I need to take this also as global. and then basically we will try to search for the number of spaces available. So if prev is -1, if our previous is -1, then we want to initialize it with the current position, that is v of I. Basically that is v of 0, and our position is filled. Our one cow is filled. Position for one cow is filled, and then if it is not that, then we want to check that if our current position minus the previous position is greater than or equals to x. X is basically the minimum distance which I want to keep. If it is like that, if it is that, then we will update our previous to the present v of I, and we will increment our position by 1. And at the end, we will return. We will check if our number of positions filled is greater than or equal to number of cows. If it is like that, then we will return 1. Else we will return 1. Else we will return 0. Right. So basically, this is our predicate function. You can have a look at this, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Guys, any doubts? If you don't have any doubts in this check function, then I will just binary search on the check function. So let me create the function for binary search. And this is very simple. We will take low as, let's say, 0. That we will keep distance as 0. 0 is not feasible, but this will 0 is not feasible. So the check function will return with 0. So we are ensured that our one position is 0, and then we will have high. So maximum distance between two cows is 10 to the power of 9. So 0. So it is 10 to the power of 9 plus 1 basically. But distance is 10 to the power 9, of course. So to be on a safer side, let us take 10 to the power of 10. And then we will have the binary search, that is low is greater than high. We will have the mid portion as, so here what I will do is, we can have low plus high by 2, but this can sometimes overflow. So basically we will not do this. What we will do is we will define our mid as low plus high minus.
Hello, Bhavya.
Yes.
Hello, Bhavya.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but Manisha is telling that please explain the check function. So, could you please explain?
Right. Shubham, if anyone says anything in chat, then please.
Yeah, I will do it. I will do that.
Manisha, it will be awesome if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, please again explain the use of check function. That
Okay. What we are doing in check function is we are trying to find the minimum position. Basically, we are giving the minimum position over here. We are entering some minimum position, and we are trying to check that if that is feasible or not. So when that will be feasible. So 1 second. Right. So here are we, and so basically when it will be feasible, we have this array, and suppose let us suppose that these are our positions and not the array. So I'm saying this is our input 1 2 3 4 and 5, and suppose we have 3 cows, right? So and we want to we want to check that if we can have certain position where the minimum distance is 2 or not, right? Between two cows, if the minimum distance is 2 or not. So what we will do is, first we will place first cow over here, then we will check that if once we will keep our first cow over here, and then we will check that if the next position, so this minus this, we will check that uh, if our next position, if we will iterate on this loop, and we will check that if our position minus this position was equal to 2 or not. If it is not equal to 2 or greater than 2, then we will go on the next position, which we have done over here. Sorry, over here. So if it is greater than or equal to the search variable, then it is okay. If it is greater than, then we will take that as the our next position. But if it is not like that, then we will go to the next iteration and we will check for 3. So here clearly 2 minus 1 was not greater than or equal to 2. So we have gone for 3. And so 3 minus 1 is greater than or equal to 2. So we will take this position and we will change our previous to basically 3. So now our previous will be 3. And our position filled, number of position filled will be 2. So position will be 2. Was equal to 2, and then we will check for 4, and it will not be we will not be able to fill the position 4 because 4 minus 3 is 1, and that is not greater than or equal to 2. And then we will check for 5, and so it is possible for 5. So in total we have filled this 3 positions, and at last what I am checking is if number of positions filled, if it is greater than or equal to the number of cows, then I will return yes that this particular answer is possible, and if it is not, then I will return 0. That I have done over here. So Manisha, have you got this?
Okay. Yes, yes.
If anyone has any further doubts,
Hello, Bhavya. Actually, here you're using a vector. So, like, you only have the header file of IOStream. I think that you need another header file.
right,
Head-
right. You are absolutely right. Let me just take the bits.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So here we are taking the metas this to overcome our overflow, and then we will just check if our if this position, the mid position, if that is possible or not. If that is basically if that is 0 or 1. If it is 1, then what we will do is we will if it is 1, then we will do is low is equals to mid, and if it is not equal to 1, then what we will do is we will decrease our height to mid plus 1, and at the end as we can see that our answer will be in low, so we will just print the low position. Let me just run this. Right, so LL was not defined. Uh, oh, sorry. Okay. and we have to call the function as well. Right? After sorting the array, we will call the binary function. There is some TLE. Oh, sorry, this should be mid minus 1. Right. Let me just define. I think that there is some problem with overflow. Let me just define int as long. Right. So there was some problem with the overflow, and it is given some numbers. Let me just have my previous thing. Right. So I had done basically the same thing, but I had taken the long, and as you can see that it is giving the answer as 3. I will try to submit this, but before that, if anyone has any problems. Guys, do you have any problems?
No, it's clear.
Right. So I will try to submit this. And it is accepted. Our time is limited, and I don't think that we will be able to cover the Prata problem. So I will encourage you to solve that problem, and if you face any problems, you can contact me. Right. So let me paste the link for that.
And guys, if you have any questions regarding the whole session, then you can ask us. We're here for some more minutes.
Right. Absolutely. You can ask any doubt.
Okay, guys, I think if you have any doubts, you can ask. We shall wait for some time. If you have any doubts, you can come up with them. Okay, so it seems like people do not have any doubts. So let us end it here. So this will be it for today's session, and we'll be having more such sessions like these. We will be having Algo series part 2, part 3, and like similar to the session that we have today. And we also have a similar series that is the DS series, and we have another third series called the Math for CP series. So I hope you all enjoyed this session. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.